Hello, my friends. How are you this morning? I would like to take you on a journey with me and to have a look at the life of Solomon, King Solomon. You may know him as the prophet Suleiman. The story starts out actually quite sad with his father David, who was a king at the time. Kings used to go into the battlefield whenever spring came around. One year, King David decided to stay at home and sent his army alone on their way into war. While he was at home, he looked out from his palace and saw on the neighboring house, on the roof, a beautiful naked woman taking a bath. He fell in love with her and ordered her to come to the palace. They had sex, and she fell pregnant. The problem was that this lady had been married to a soldier out on the battlefield. So ultimately, what happened, in order to conceal this adultery, David had that soldier killed on that battlefield. After the 30 days of mourning were over, he married Bathsheba, and the child was born in wedlock. And so he thought he got away with it. But he didn't count on God, because God so rebuked him and brought judgment upon him by having this child die when it was a baby. Of course, David and Bathsheba were very sad. And that's how we then start to read in 2 Samuel chapter 12. Samuel was the high priest in Israel, in the kingdom, and he chronicled the life of how the kingdom came together and how David was chosen and what David did and how he lived his life. So very interesting reading. So he writes the following. Come with me and have a look. 2 Samuel chapter 12 in the Bible. So after the death of their first child, David and Bathsheba were sad. So David comforted his wife Bathsheba, and he went to her and lay with her. She gave birth to a son, and they named him Solomon. The Lord loved him, and because the Lord loved him, he sent word through Nathan the prophet to name him Jedidiah. Jedidiah is basically a Hebrew word for loved by the Lord. So, what do we learn in this story? What do we learn about God? I think we learn two things. God sees when we sin. It doesn't matter how much we try to conceal it. He sees, he knows, and he judges. Sin always will have consequences. But, and that's the second thing, when we repent, a bad situation can turn into a wonderful thing. David and Bathsheba repented, truly repented. Yes, their first son had to die, but they received a second child, Solomon, who later then became king. And we learn about God's sovereignty. Because David and Bathsheba repented, God had a very special love for this boy, Solomon. That's why he was called as well Jedidiah, loved by the Lord. What do we learn about us? We are not perfect. Even the best among us sin. We learn that God sees, So we learn it is better to repent and to receive God's grace and to turn our lives around. So I hope for this week that we all learn how to repent and to ask God for forgiveness and to get His grace. Have a nice week. May God bless you.